Hello, everyone. Welcome back. In record time, I've managed to organize a review stream. Usually, it takes me about a month after the tournament's taken place and everyone's forgotten about everything. But I actually got it done pretty quick this time. And you can thank Wax for that. I think Wax was the one that was bugging me about it because he wanted to talk some shit. So here we are. I have two of the predictions members joining me again. So Phynn and Peregrin, how's it going, guys?
Yeah, good, thanks.
Yeah, happy days. Wax back on stream again. What's going on?
Hello. I'm here to talk smack about lights and other things.
Yeah. Fantastic. Cool. So I think the review streams typically take longer, so we are just going to get right into the thick of it. But just as a quick tidbit, if you haven't seen one of the review streams before, we're going to go through each of the teams from 13th all the way to 1st. We're going to talk about where they placed versus predictions, how they played as a team, like things they did well, things they, didn't do so well. Talk about assuming that the team stays together, which obviously for pre-nats that we get a lot of mixed teams, so it's hard to say, but assuming this team was staying together, what advice and improvements they could look to make by the next tournament, and then rounding up by everyone just mentioning a player that standed out for them on that team. One quick thing as well, normally I have a full Google Slides and I have like a bunch of individual player stats and stuff that we can look at. I wasn't able to get that for this stream, so my apologies for that. It is what it is, but the show must go on. So instead, we're just going to be looking at a boring old Google Sheets. Not a lot going on there, but it's the best I could do. I also worked until like less than an hour before the stream started, and I hadn't had time to make anything, so I've only whipped it up in a few minutes or whatever, so give me a break. Anyway, have you guys got anything you'd like to say before we get into it?
I want the Ryan drawings back for every stream. Needs to be part of the stream as well at the start. Like as we're talking about them, you like do a little drawing of like their team.
That's genius, actually, because I don't actually have to listen to you guys. I could just,
exactly.
just ask a question, and then I'll be here. That's like got some Bob Ross energy. It's just like, the screen share is just like paint, and I'm just sitting here drawing the team. That's actually, I'll do that next time. That's genius. That's happening, ladies and gentlemen. Don't let me forget that one, Wax. That's awesome. It's been a while. I need to flex my artistic skills. Jeez. All right. Cool. Let's get right into it. I'm going to share my screen. Boom. There it is. Like I said, everyone, not particularly exciting, but it's the best I can do with the time I had.
Minus 10 is crazy.
Hey, get ahead of yourself, brother.
We're gonna get that second, all right? Let's
I'll give you a minute.
Yeah.
All right. Cool. So starting us off, 13th place, we had Synergy, and they were down 1 from our overall predictions. So who wants to get us started talking about Synergy?
Probably me. I think I played them the most, unless you did.
No, we didn't spend much time against them.
But I think I thought, did we all put them in 12th initially. I think it was something like that, and it was nice and easy. They were sitting like I want to say 9th pretty consistently throughout the comp, and it was only Cascade 2 and Ascensions that they dropped.
Yes, I do have the I have
I
the
think it
team
was
ladder
just
thing here
from
as
some.
well.
Oh, Nate.
Yeah, Synergy was 9th after round robin and Cascade 1. They dropped down to 12th after Cascade 2 and then finished in 13th. So there you go.
Yeah. So I remember they were sitting above us for pretty like up until Ascension's Day, and we were like, "Oh, we're not on the spoon game," and then we saw them there. We were like, "That's not right. You guys were like actually killing it." But then talking to a few of them, it sounded like they were last minute, like during Cascades, changing up a bit of what they were doing, maybe.
Right.
Because I know they started with like I think Wildcard was initially under, and then they swapped that out. I could be wrong. I think they were like swapping people around, and I think, yeah, and yeah, I don't know, like I remember every time we went up against them, they were definitely using their brains a lot better than we were. Like we were just going, monkey, brain, shoot, and then they were like, oh wait, these guys, they're just gonna throw, and then they did throw, so then they like Synergy just won those games or just like did better. But I think whatever they changed clearly did not work for them, and I think it going into that spoon game was not great for their mental. So that might have affected. I don't know.
I will say from what I saw, like day 1 to day 2, Carton, he was literally the goat of laser tag on day 1, and like absolutely like running circles around everyone. Like he was like top of the solo ladder. Like I've never seen him go so crazy. I don't know what he did, what he took that day, but man locked the fuck in. And then day 2, we kind of got normal Carton again, and it was kind of like hard to replicate like what was happening on day 1. So maybe they got used to what was going on day 1 and things they could get away with, and then when it wasn't working and they decided to start changing things because there was no Carton going crazy, like, and they were playing normal laser tag again, it was hard for them to like replicate what they did on day 1. But I do know that they swapped out Wildcard from last line because they had some troubles where even if from not 100% sure, but if he got comms, he was still dying to people and stuff. Like it was just like he wasn't feeling comfortable in the bases. And then I think Shaz wasn't as comfortable outside, and then she jumped in the base, and I think she was doing a little bit better, and it just kind of worked a little nicer.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, right. Peregrin, have you got anything to add? Obviously, you would have versed them in at some point, like at the end of the tournament, if not like through the start of it.
Occasionally, I think I was gonna sort of just more or less say the same thing that Wax said. That Carton was like really on fire. They had a really good run to start with, and I think once everybody else started catching up with the game and figuring out how the maze worked and how the game played, they didn't adapt to or change anything, and so it became really easy for everyone to sort of overtake them a little bit. So I think this is a little factor of that. Of like, because it seemed like they got along well, like they were doing well, and they were like communicating well in game and swapping out, but they just sort of lost a bit of momentum.
Carton said in the chat that his fall off on day 2 should be studied.
That day 1 Carton is what I've been like begging for him to like do more, like, because I feel like when he plays for Riptide, he still defends so much, and he does like, even when he's attacking, he plays in a way which is not like attacking enough. And that day 1 Carton was everything I complain about all the time. Just like he was like woke up and he's like, I'm winning this. Like, we're going crazy.
Good on him. Does anyone else have anything to add, or maybe some points of improvement? So, like I said before, like Prenet's 1, we end up with a lot of mixed teams. But assuming that the team is let's assume that it's a team that's gonna come back for Prenet's 2. What's some things that we think they could take away from this tournament and so they can improve on?
I think it always comes down to that synergy thing. Like they got to figure out how to play with each other more so. Like I think Carton and Ems have spent a bit of time together. Shaz has spent a little bit of time with each other's, but like I don't know. It just seemed like they didn't blend all too well. Like they were doing okay, but they just didn't get that bit more time together, a bit more like pay attention to each other, so they can actually mold off what each other's actions are.
Anyone else?
Give whatever Carton had, like give Carton more of whatever he had on that first day. Keep him going.
I honestly have nothing about this team because I don't even think I ref them once, so I think it's hard to like. I just saw the Carton thing and I was like, this is all I'm talking about because that's all I know. So I don't really have too much, but just play more. Like Shaz only just started. Like she just needs to keep showing up and getting better and like I don't even. My only thing is like as always, I feel like Pulcrum is too quiet. Like when I say that, I also mean like with presence in the maze as well. Like I think I did ref one game and there's no sound, no like. He just kind of appears every so often and puts like the tiniest bit of pressure, but there's no like someone's here. It's like there's a person lurking around and he just appears, dies, leaves, appears, dies, leaves.
Yeah,
Like, that's the one game I saw. I don't know what else.
Comes out of the shadows to give points.
Yeah, pretty much. He just needs to kind of like make
Be impactful.
yeah, just maybe a little bit more. Which I've said to him like 1,000 times. So maybe it's just a dead horse and I'm just beating it more.
Beat that thing. So as I guess a question we could add that's special for this stream is do you think this is a team that was able to take advantage of the lights, and do you think this is a team that was affected by 60 MS at all? Trigger lockout.
I think the lights for this team were probably
used it well.
Carton's best friend. Like, because obviously he doesn't have much like captaincy and stuff. And these things like would have been helping them so much in those. Because I know day one, I remember seeing some of the games, there was a lot of dumping and stuff. And like people being more aggressive and stuff. And there's no way that Carton would have that like intuition yet, like by barely ever doing it. And just he's a roof starer, like, and that's fine because it's there.
Yeah, and what about the 60 MS? Do you think this is a team that benefited from it or that suffered from it?
I think they're just in the middle of it. Like as soon as you go to them, it's in their favor. Like they were just solid enough. Like they come to you or they attack you, you're rolling them enough, but they still do things. But then you go to their defense and it's like the same thing. Because I remember coming up against, I was like, oh, Shaz, newer player. Surely this means I get like 1 or 2 more dings than I should have. And then I got binned and I'm like, I'll come back later.
Welcome to 60 MS.
Yeah.
Nah, cool. All right. Who's everyone's pick for standout player? Phynn, you can start.
I mean, we can go the obvious pick and say Carton. Because
You're more than welcome to go the obvious
he was pretty
pick.
sick. I do. Yeah, look, I reckon I just go Carton on this. Props to Shaz for like, because they were pretty high for a while, and considering a new player doing well, and it was only like a last day issue. It's pretty good, and I feel like that's going to be the case for a lot of the newer players on these teams.
Yep, cool. Peregrin.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, Khan's a pretty obvious pick, but he's also playing in a position which gives him a lot of like clout. It gives him a lot of ability to make points and sort of try and drag people through. I'd actually sort of, if not Carton, I'd put up for Ems. Like Ems is a pretty good up and coming player. Needs a little bit more work to still come up, and really get there, but is like a very solid, dependable player in my opinion.
And Wax.
I might say Shaz because compared to what I saw like at our EOI night or I don't remember what it was called, but like just some training night, it was like deer in headlights to like actually functioning deer, like who can look into headlights and not like lose their mind. Where like what I saw at Pre-Nats was slightly better, so I expected less, and it was like positively like better than I thought. So
yeah, cool. All right, we'll wrap it up there with 13th place, and we'll move on to 12th place.
Oh god,
the bullying
All right, yeah, come on.
Behemoth 10 spots down from predictions. Who wants to talk about Behemoth first?
I have questions and I need answers.
Go on then.
I've already bullied Brock a little bit, so
Yeah.
just quickly, I want like a brief overview of who was playing where
Okay.
and what happened for this to happen.
So we had Dark Fashion in last line, Bread or Sparrow on a door, and then either Bread or Volley in float. Usually like front float. I would be second out, and Brock would be Firebird would be the first out. Would be our lead. Running, and like I'm gonna say, you probably would have heard it, and I'm gonna say it again. But like our main issue was just straight up communication. I think there was a lot of expectation that everyone was like, yeah, you know what you're doing, and you know what you're doing, so we don't have to say anything about it now. And everybody would just fall apart because they wouldn't talk to each other. It didn't matter how many times we came out of games, we'd be like, this guys, we need to talk. Everyone would be like, yeah, cool. And then we'd go silent back into the maze. I'm just as bad for it as everyone else, but it was a fucking terrible thing.
Okay, it's crazy to see like that happens, considering how you guys are out of laser tag. Like, I feel like all of you are so close and like you can talk and blah 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 blah. But like in the maze, it's just like there's no cohesion at all. Like it's negative,
no.
like tripping over each other. Like, did you guys like think about and have strategies for how you wanted to play like lockout and like all that stuff?
So we played a lot of like control the mez kind of vibe. If we couldn't keep control of the mez, it was go wide and avoid the mez. So there was definitely like strategy and ways we were going to play around it, but I don't think there was a lot of like depth in that strategy other than this isn't working, let's dump.
Yeah, okay.
So
I thought that would be fine for you guys, because I thought the dumping would actually be okay, because I feel like the storm dumping's always good. And
well, I mean, I'm only a recent addition to storm.
That's fair. That's fair. But like, Brock is the one doing the dumping, so
yeah.
Maybe he's a good dumper.
Yeah, I mean, there is also the fact that we having like Sparrow on. It's like, as much as I love Sparrow and I love Cass, like she's very rusty and hasn't been around for a long time. Did really well, like her comms are really good. Like had a lot of hard time like winning any standoffs, but like effective enough. But also definitely a weak link in that sense of like if somebody came up to our base and she was on a door, that was like cool. That should ticket in right there. It's easy enough to do. Even with having someone like Dark Fashion on the inside, enough pressure from both doors, you're going to get clapped.
Especially because DP, like, he knows what he's doing, but it's not like something he's like drilled on. Like, he's not. Yeah. And he also hasn't been playing much recently.
Yeah.
So I think that's definitely one thing. And like Volley as well. Volley hasn't played much. And I think like this is like number 1 team for like, we hate 60 MS. Like, fuck 60 MS. Like, you got like I feel like it affected you guys the most from what I could see on the scoreboard.
Yeah,
like
it definitely has a big impact on the way that we sort of run, particularly attack wise. The way that both Five and I tend to run at bases does not conduce well to 60 MS. Like that lockout really messes with us a lot. Like we both have that sort of mentality of like, I'm going to go run on a door, I'm going to stand on this defender, I'm going to shoot you, and then I'm going to run in the base, but I just can't shoot you. So there's the plan. It's gone. We're out.
What next? What now?
I don't know what to do.
Yeah, and I just think like the way that like you could see that in games where it just felt like you guys nothing would be happening. You'd be trying things and it'd be too hard. Like you wouldn't be able to get in. And then at some point you just pull the pin and you can win that game. And I think that's why there was points where you were like doing better. But then I think at the end it kind of settled in where like.
Yeah, we spent far too much time like just trying to grind indoors and I don't. This is not an exaggeration. There was a game where we were playing Beep Beep and I went 16-0 against Cyrex, just running at the same door for about a minute and a half.
Jesus Christ!
I didn't shoot a single other person.
She's like she's reading her notebook and she's like, "Wait, we picked up Peregrin like 4 weeks ago."
What have we done?
Yeah, mistakes have been made. Yeah, no, a lot of our problem was just a bit of in-game cohesion, just getting stuff to work together, talking to each other, and then just like being able to coordinate ourselves when we decided to pull the pin. That's where it became a lot. I think there was a lot of that factor of like we went into the game, got sad about 60 MS, and just gave up for the next 11 minutes.
Yeah, and I see like I'm gonna roast Volley a little bit. Like most of his tag ratios were like 50. Like he was getting, I felt like every time I saw the scoreboard, that man was getting minced. And I just feel like it's because like it's a mixture of not practicing recently much and maybe just kind of like playing like it's not lockout and he's just standing on people and stuff, but
Yeah.
it did not.
I mean,
look
this is
pretty.
also the guy. That's also the guy that came out of the 3 training games. Just that I kind of like lockout, guys.
He had 3 good games, and then the rest of the comp is like,
and got to defend 3 games in a row.
Yeah.
Yeah, Zam in the chat actually asked, was there any teams that you guys saw often or struggled against? Surely there was a team on the same trend as you guys, slowly declining with you.
Not really. I feel like actually, like Synergy, if anything, had a bit of a drop around about the same time. But no, I think we had sort of the most, like, we had a big start and then just dropped consistently after that. I think the team we probably played the most might have been 1UP. I feel like I recall seeing 1UP the most in the arena, but we just got stopped by them every time. I think that was our biggest indicator where we went into a game with these players that like are quite in favor for lockout, particularly like for the OG 1UP guys.
Yeah.
And trying to play against games against them where we just couldn't make any momentum.
Yeah, sure. Phynn, did you have anything you wanted to add, or do you feel the boys have kind of encapsulated it pretty well?
Oh, yeah, they've probably gone over everything. We saw you guys like twice, once in round robin and then on the last day, so I don't really have much to say.
No, that's cool. We've touched on it a bunch of times, but what is like some main takeaways from Prenets 1? Like, assuming that you like all played together for Prenets 2, what are the main takeaways on the things that you would train and try and improve on before next tournament?
I'd probably go from my perspective, just comms and consistency. Just that. That was our biggest downfall. Just talk to each other.
And then when you say comms, it's like specifically not just like door comms or something, but communicating like, hey, like you're going here now, I'm here. And
that
what's the
was
base
fine.
count
It was
and
those things were fine. It was specifically like door comms.
Specifically door comms.
Yeah, it was that kind of stuff where we'd see our teammate run into the base and just stop talking. Like, all right, he's in the base, he should be fine now. It's just a lot of that. So just there was no communication in that sense.
Yeah, cool. Did Phynn or Wax, you have something you wanted to add for a specific thing for the team to improve on, assuming they play to get together again?
Just like the strategy behind 60ms, I feel like the standoffs and like the how to attack, and even like I don't know if it happened at Prenats, but I can know that it happens at training where like Bread will just stand next to you thinking it's not 60ms and just get absolutely minced sometimes. And it's just like thinking about it differently. And sure, I'm number one hateful for like losing my mind, but like actually just being like, we're here, we're playing this shit, fuck it, we ball, like just send it.
Yeah.
Like, even if we don't like it, it's for one weekend, and then maybe there's a vote. Like whatever happens. Like,
yeah,
more
cool.
used to it.
For sure. And I mean, yeah, it is definitely one of those things. We could talk about it more at the end, but I definitely think 60ms plays better on one shot per second and stuns. But like I've played plenty of tournaments with 60, like some form of trigger lockout, even more aggressive versions, or like around 60ms and stuff. And like once you make the adjustments, it's kind of like becomes something you don't think about all that much, honestly. But definitely better one shot per second and stuns, I would say. But we could talk about it more at the end as a more holistic thing. Who is everyone's standout player for Behemoth? Phynn, you can start.
I don't know. I didn't see these guys at all.
I don't think anyone deserves it. Let's.
No.
As harsh as that is, I don't think anyone deserves it. All of them for rocking up.
I will say we had a great time out of the arena.
Yeah. And that was the craziest thing, because you'd come down the ramp, see the scoreboard, be depressed. 5 minutes later, be okay, like everyone's happy. Go back upstairs, be depressed again. It's like an endless cycle of happy, depression, happy.
Oh, yeah. How did Behemoth as a whole feel about the lights as well? And did you make much use of them?
Yeah, I think I know that Firebird has very strong opinions about the lights, that it sort of becomes cookie cutter games. Very much like you wait till 7 minutes, you look at the lights, and then if you're not winning, you dump to that team, kind of thing. And I feel like that definitely played out a lot for us. I think that definitely had an impact because we weren't reading games as well as we could have. Like the effort wasn't going into reading games, more so. It was just wait, have a look at the lights, then we do that. We just do what the lights tell us, rather than playing out a game.
Yeah, cool. All right. Peregrine, did you want to shout out anyone on your team in particular, or is that too much to ask?
I do want to give a shout out to Sparrow. I think everyone else, they know what they did, but Sparrow, like, for someone that doesn't play as much as the rest of us, like, would still go into every game just like raring to go, ready to go do it, ready to give it like full ball. So A+ for effort and attitude.
Cool, fantastic. Well,
Everyone sucks.
hard luck for Behemoth this time. I hope it doesn't like impact your mental well-being too much. I hope you guys are all okay. I'm here if you need a chat. Reach out to me. Okay.
Thanks, man.
Cheers. All right. Coming up next, 11th, we had Talk 30 to me, and they were actually even with their predictions. So the first one that we got right. Who wants to start us off with Talk 30 to me? And I am going to run to the loo because I came straight from work and I haven't had time to go to the toilet, and I'm going to pee myself. So
I'm going to do the same thing, but I'm doing something for longer. So you guys have fun.
All right. Well,
all right. Let's go, Phynn.
Yeah, Phynn, Peregrin, have a mad chat.
Let's go.
I feel like I played these guys a lot this month. Like maybe the team that showed up, or I ended up playing the most, or at least I remember them more than any other team.
Yeah, I feel like they were one of those like consistent teams as well. What, you good?
Yeah, like I remember that I have this feeling that they were getting some like really good wins, and then they were pulling like themselves out. So it's like, oh, we're gonna move. Oh no. But I also just like don't remember at the same time. Like I wasn't really paying attention to, I guess, their wins. It was more in the game. I'm like, oh, cool, this player's shown up. They binned me, expected, and then I'd look over. I'm like, wait, Bubbles is in defense. What? Which felt wrong, or
yeah,
I mean, it's just based off what I guess we all know Bubbles were doing. Like I remember seeing him in defense, at least at the start, a fair bit.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember who else has done this. I'm trying to remember who would have actually been leading the attack, because I definitely saw. I feel like I saw Arbol and Insomniac, maybe.
Yeah. I remember Insomniac being first out practically every game. I think, at least from my perspective, because I remember running into him at like red, and I'm like, oh, here he is, and then we just like have a little fun out the front door. Proceeds to get our base, runs away. I'm like, cool, they're done.
Yeah.
I feel like I think it was a bit of a mix between Arbol and Bubbles being second out, but I don't remember. I think that's just one game is very like prominent in my mind.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like I saw a few changes throughout the time that they were running, but like you look at like the ladder and the end results, they consistently stayed around about the same. So it's probably like the most consistent team, I think, aside from maybe you guys. Because they like dropped, end up 11th after round robin, dropped down to 12th in Cascade 1, went up to 11th in Cascade 2, and finished at 11th.
That's pretty damn consistent.
Yeah, so they kind of just stuck around that same end of the ladder the entire time.
I'm not sure what you guys have talked about yet, but how do you think 60 MS affected this team?
I feel like Ghibli and Insomniac are a little bit used to it now. It's hard to tell with the likes of Bubbles. Like Bubbles is one of those consistent players that will just show up and be like, this is how it is, and just plays on.
Play laser tag.
Yeah, he's just there to play laser tag, and I feel like Marble's a little bit the same.
Mhm.
Yeah, I don't know. It didn't seem like it really rocked them super hard.
Yep. Finn, did you have any observations? Did you feel they were kind of adjusting well to 60 ms, or not so well, or no idea?
I think mostly they were fine with it. I think it's the same sort of thing I think I said with Synergy, where it's like they just fell into the exact same spot of if you're attacking, you're probably getting binned a fair bit, but like as soon as you get your one, you're all good. And then defense, they were binning people most of the time, as long as like depending on where they were, like they were not sticking out. Because I think there was I don't know. This was the team that I kept seeing like sticking out a shoulder. I'm like, oh, cool, ding. But
Right.
aside from that, like as soon as I had to go 1-on-1, I'm like, oh, right, 60 ms on the leave again. Like I think, especially with playing them a lot, I was noticing or getting binned a lot.
And what do we think about how do we think they made good use of the lights, or yeah, what do we reckon?
I think Arbel's, like, from what I could see, I refed a couple of their games in the last day, I think. And I think, like, Arbel kind of understands anyway, so it wasn't... he was one of the people that probably were like, oh, there's lights. Oh, that confirms what I know. Like,
Yeah, sure.
I, like, when I did watch, there was some times where Arbel... because Arbel was captain the whole time, there was some times where Arbel was struggling a little bit, but I think it was just hard to, like... all the players are all different states and like all that jazz, so it's kind of hard to like know exactly where people are going to be, what they're going to do. And like there was one really confusing game where I watched their attack leave, then one of them came back, it's like, where's the other person? And then they took 3, but then the other person came back, it's like, where's my attack? Like it was just like a little bit of that, but I think by the end they might have worked it out enough that it was okay. But
I think so.
Yeah, sure.
I think it sounded a bit dysfunctional at the start.
Where are we up to? If assuming that the Talk 30 to Me team came back for Prenats 2 as the same roster, what words of advice or things would you advise them to kind of focus on in their training before Prenats 2?
I'd probably say like utilize Bubbles a little bit more, like put him out on attack a bit more. That's something he does well. I think
it was very aggressive mid. My negative was going to be that Bubbles wasn't there enough. Like when they needed him, like he would just be pushing for points. So I think he was doing too much, and I think on the last day he was getting killed a lot, but not getting as much pack. And it's kind of hard in Darwin when like there's like 2 people playing laser tag. It's just Tricky and Bubble shooting each other.
You have to push for points.
Yeah, cool. Any other points of improvement for this team?
Not really. If it was
spend a bit more time together.
Yeah, it would just be play more together if it was putting back the team.
And who is everyone's stand-up player for Talk 30 to Me? Finn, you go first.
At least on a points and being active sort of thing, I'd say Insomniac, just because I think I saw the most from him. But then, just in like positive vibe, like having a vibe in the maze was always Ghibli. Like I'd run up and then it would be like, cool, we're all like, everyone's having fun with it, or at least Ghibli was, which was so nice. Actually, Abel too. I don't know, this team just vibed. I liked it.
Yeah.
I had like breakfast with them one morning, and they were just like, it was just vibes. Like they're just having fun. Like that's all it is.
Peregrin, who's your stand-up player?
Bubbles is my go-to because like I spent a lot of time, definitely spent a decent amount of time just on the mez talking shit with him. So
awesome. And Wax, who's your stand-up player?
And for some reason, every time I see Red Devil play, I kind of forget like that he's actually pretty decent. So like I see good things from him in last line and stuff. I'm like, oh, and it's just like a pleasant surprise every time. I just like wipe my brain and I just completely forget that he's actually okay. So
you get to be surprised again and again
he's on
and
Sharks
again.
this year, I'm pretty sure.
Is he?
Yeah,
oh, that's cool.
So, that's cool.
Oh, neat.
I think we have a method in the chat, so you can confirm that for us as well. But that's pretty cool if that's the case. Yeah. Any last tidbits on Top 30 to Me?
No.
Awesome. Method has conf. Red Devil is on Sharks for Sunny Coast. So that's pretty cool. Yeah, all right. We'll move on to 10th place. The Professors, down 1 from predictions. Who wants to get us started with the Professors talking about how they played and how they did and stuff?
Can I quickly start and start it at a negative low?
Yeah.
I'm the
Trust
reason
you
they're
for
in
this, mate.
10th. I termed them out of 9th.
Oh my goodness.
Oh,
And what was the
man.
term for? What was the charge?
Grub, you know the move bitch, get out of the way video? Grub
Yeah.
recreated that, but put hazmat through a wall.
Oh my god.
His own teammate.
It was crazy. Hazmat, I've never seen hazmat bounce before. That man bounced off that fucking wall.
Uh-oh. Yeah. No. People have been getting in trouble for that recently.
Is that you?
No, it couldn't
What was
be
it look?
me. It couldn't be me. Just people.
Oh.
Yeah. Damn, that's rough. But I guess I don't know. Yeah, it's pretty funny that you did it as well to Grub. That's
Yeah.
actually.
I
that's
didn't
actually
want to do
awesome.
it. I was like, I need to term someone, otherwise I'm gonna be mad about this for a month. And then
Yeah.
I'm like, someone needs to be termed. It's happening.
All right, is that your little tidbit? And we can
That's just
actually
my
talk
tidbit. But I'm also gonna quickly chuck in the lights thing because if I'm a ref and I bitch it in any way or form, and then I look up and the lights are the color of the team that I'm gonna term, I can be like, actually, I kind of actually hate that guy slightly more than I realized. That's what I did
Yeah.
with Grub. I was like, fuck Grub. These lights are their color. I'm gonna term them now.
Yeah, that was actually something we were talking about after a training or something. We were talking about the lights in Adelaide. And yeah, that was something that someone did brought up. It was probably Mikey. Mikey always thinks about this stuff. And it was like, you could just look at the lights as a ref and be like, oh, fuck that team. Boom.
Yeah. Yeah. And
Yeah,
that's
an interesting
no
point.
good. So then if there's any form of hesitation at all in reffing, it's gonna be made worse by the fact that if someone's nervous about it and they're like, oh, I know I should term this person, and then they look up and they see that they're winning, they're like, I don't want to term them because I'm gonna get killed. Or they might do the opposite where they might be like, they're winning, fuck it, whatever. It's not gonna matter.
You know what? Suddenly, after game. Why
Yeah,
not?
and that's just terrible.
Can you imagine? Can you imagine it's the last 10 seconds of a game and red team's winning and then they cover to get into a base or something and you go term them. You term them, you look up, the lights turn a different color and the game
You just
ends,
term
you
that.
just be
Oh yeah, you're just like, I'm dead. I die. Run away.
That'd be
Yeah.
so funny, actually. Oh, wow. Awesome. Okay. But no, a very, very valid point on the discussion of the lights and stuff. But anyway, fucking the Professors. Who wants to get us started talking about the meat and potatoes, how they played and how they went and stuff?
I'm happy to do it again.
Get it.
Yeah, I thought they were higher than us on the ladder every time the draw came out because every time obviously when we played them they just they beat us.
I think they were.
Pretty sure.
I think they were pretty
Yeah.
high in Cascade.
They were,
but I looked at it and they were below
11th,
us.
12th, 11th. 8th
They were
was the
never
highest
once
they
above
got.
us. It
They
was
were-
cooked.
They were above you in Cascade 2. After Cascade 2.
Yeah, in Cascade 2, and then
Were
they
they?
dropped back
Oh
down
yeah, after
to
yeah. On the Ascension
10th.
say they're above.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you, Wax. But yeah, I just remember seeing 1 or 2 games and based everything off that, and I don't know. The big thing that I saw in a few of the games was they definitely, they knew the maze fairly well, but they also used their players well for the maze too. I just remember Newt in blue, flying down the ramp, the mezzanine ramp to get a deny me, and he did it twice. And
Wrong team.
every other defender down, and then it's just zoom. And I'm like, oh, of course, right.
Finn,
They,
wrong
they
team.
had this set up.
Newton's not on this team.
They knew exactly. Yeah, Oh,
He's
not
not.
fucking Ben. No, hang on. Dirtbag. That's the name. There's too many
Dirtbag.
names, and I don't know them.
That's fair. That's fair.
Dirtbag. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, he just like zoomed down, get me over and over, and I'm like, oh right, I should have. Yeah, and every time I worked at the base, they're just like exactly where they needed to be, set up in every way, and it's like, yeah, I don't know. I felt useless against these guys, which is why I also like attributed to thinking they were going to be above us every time. And I think I remember seeing at least one or two good wins or like good performances from like everyone.
I refed a bunch of their games, and I literally just even not refed, like versed them in a game that we versed them. Grub literally ran rings around against the enemy's base, the third team's base, and killed like 20 people. It was, and I watched him do that like multiple times. He was like, nothing's happening, no one's getting in the base, I'm gonna do it myself. Like everyone's dying, like just running laps.
Fine,
And
I'll do it myself, man.
Yeah. Literally, and the thing is sometimes they wouldn't even get the base because he's like just killing everyone. Then someone third parties, and it's just like a disaster. But it was actually nice seeing like, obviously having Dirtbag and Indy play their first like official comp. I think Dirtbag definitely fit in slightly better. I think Indy struggled a little bit, but I also do think she's slightly better. She's one of those people that don't move as much when she's standing off, so like lockout's gonna like not be fun for her. So as soon as she got out of the base, sometimes it was a bit of a struggle. But I think when she was in, she was doing pretty well. Like it was nice to see. And like Dirtbag is probably, I don't think Queensland has too many new rookies where like Sunny Coast has a bunch of new rookies. Dirtbag's kind of like the only one that's like fighting all the Sunny Coast rookies right now, like to actually be good enough to like be on the same team with all of them and stuff. And it's nice to see him actually kind of go to Sunny Coast and do well at his first tournament, because previously I think when we would go to Sunny Coast and would bring him up there, he would get a little bit mids and it was never ideal. But I think he like held his own. He was good solid attacker for Grub to like attack with, and that just made it. It was good to see.
He needed to be in a comp that wasn't just full of like Sunny Coast natives.
Yeah, literally.
Yeah, that helped him shine, helped him show up a little bit, I think.
I ref the ramp a little bit, and he just like, even if he was dead, he would still be fighting for the ramp, trying to like hold the space and like do the right things and stuff. It was good to see.
And I think I definitely back what you were saying before about Innie. Like she's one of those players that like once she gets into a base, it's a real pain in the butt to try and get her out because she's just got the patience to not jab and move and poke things out. So it becomes actually genuinely hard to dive her out and get her out of a base once she's in there. But yeah, very static in the way that she plays.
I will say, I'll throw some shade. I've never seen Hazmat be so mentally ill ever. That man lost his mind over 60 MS. It was actually crazy to see.
I swear I watched Grub have an aneurysm in one of the games, just like one of the early games in like round robin about like trying to get the team together to try and get them to do something. I think it may have been one of those moments where he'd run around and shot 20 people and his team had just stood there and be like, yeah go Grub, get it. He's like, no, I need you to get in the base.
Yeah. I think there was definitely some rough like losses where like he's like, we should have won that game, but it's just like the firepower from the individuals just weren't there. So I think it's hard for him to like, because I don't think he's been captaining as much recently, like with anything, like even at league or anything. So I think it's hard to go from like catalyst to like having to rely on people who are still like learning and stuff. And yeah, you expect things to happen, they just sometimes don't.
Yeah,
even from someone like Hazmat, right? Because Hazmat's still like learning a lot, and like he's played for a while now, but he's still fresh and he doesn't understand everything and stuff.
Yeah. I think he's got that more reserved play style where he won't actively make moves so much.
He's doing it. I didn't even realize what it was happening.
Yeah.
I've been focusing so much.
trying to drag this out so he can complete this masterpiece.
And like Jimmy's the same. Like Jimmy has done a lot of finals and stuff, but like he doesn't fully understand laser tag. Like he's not very like in depth with that stuff, so he's not going to be able to help Grub too much. But he can be reliable in the things he does. It's just he's not going to be too much of help with Grub, like making calls and stuff.
Yeah.
Um,
I'm so confused who this is right now. What, I can't even think.
Just-
surely.
yeah, it's a hazmat suit, brother.
Oh my god, it's too skinny.
Well,
Scuba hazmat.
scuba hazmat, fantastic.
But
Um,
I think they did well on the last day, before the finals game, before that final game. I think they
Yeah.
won their games pretty well, and like they definitely had some like they beat some people that they shouldn't. Like they beat, I think they beat Beep Beep and Shark Clips, and they nearly beat us. Like it was pretty good from what we could see, like what they were doing and stuff. What the hell am I looking at?
Big Jim.
I just need to think, bro. My brain. I forgot his name was Thick Jim.
yeah. I'm gonna get in trouble for this, maybe, but
What is it?
But-
What is Innie's one? What even is Innie?
It's like a belly
Um,
button. It's like an innie belly button, right? Surely.
Oh, that's so weird to draw, though.
It's the opposite of Audi.
That's fair. That's fair.
have you guys talked about
Man doesn't even know what's happening. He's just like locked in. Well, we'll do like improvements. Like what's
Yeah.
everyone's
Yeah,
improvements?
yeah, that's a good idea.
Peregrine, what's everyone's improvements?
I mean, yeah, it's hard. I think Has needs to get a little bit more on the aggressive side. Like he spent a lot of time playing last night, so I think he needs to spend some time outside of that, just playing aggressively and running at stuff. So that when you have those moments where you get to the end of the game, he's like, all right, we got to get in, we got to get this base. He's not just standing back, being like, I got the door covered. Like I think he needs to spend some time just running indoors and trying to work with a bit of that. Any like great inside a base, just a little bit more movement outside and sort of adjusting to a little bit of that. Dirtbag, hard for me to say, like, dude, just he's doing well. I think if he just keeps on the trajectory he's doing, he's gonna do great. Yeah.
What am I looking at?
It's the innie.
Jesus Christ. Yeah, I still want to see so much from Hazmat because I know he needs to improve so much. And I know that he can if he puts his mind to it. He just needs to like actively think about what's happening and why it's not working and stuff.
Yeah.
And like Dirtbag and like I want to see Innie like be out of a base and just take every fight she can, moving around and like doing things where it's just like out of comfort zone, completely just like in the dirt, just like fighting people
in the dirt bag.
in the Dirtbag. And like Dirtbag as well, like I feel like he still just needs to kind of understand, like he's gotten all those skills and stuff. It just feels like he might need a little bit more knowledge about the game and stuff. Like take it that one step further.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Do we you guys have commented a bit on the 60 MS. Did we talk about the lights much for this team?
I think Grub knows what he's doing enough that it doesn't matter.
Yeah,
I think
it's
that
like
the
kind of
things
like
that
a case of confirming what he kind of already knew.
Maybe not confirming, but maybe like I feel very comfortable right now. Look up, and then he's like, "Oh, we're losing on pack. Like our pack's bad." Like he knows these game flow is going well, and then the lights can confirm that they're kind of just getting shit on a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And like MS as well, I think was fine-ish, except for Hazmat. Like, and like I guess Innie as well, but
Yeah.
I think it was okay with this team.
It's that other like case of like someone walking into the game in the first minute going, I don't like this, and then just giving up for the next 11.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Who's everyone's pick for standout player?
Dirtbag.
Bag
The
of dirt.
bag.
Yeah.
Bag of dirt.
Now that I remember his name.
I'm gonna say Grub because I also watched him nearly have aneurysms multiple times, but he didn't like lose his mind, which is like I think hard to do sometimes.
He didn't give up, so that's fair.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Fantastic. All right. Well, we have our drawings. I'm gonna keep doing this for each of the teams from now on. Sorry to the teams I hadn't done it for. I was just looking at the stream and I was like, damn, we are really just staring at the same fucking screen the whole time. let's do something to change it up. So
Let's go.
here we are. Better late than never, huh? Fantastic. Well, I've lost my.
We're actually going to be here for 3 hours. Holy fuck. What?
All
Alright, let's keep this ball rolling. Number 9. Bean's
Number 9.
boyfriends.
Bean's boyfriends. Up 1 from predictions. Who wants to get us started talking about Bean's boyfriend?
Well.
A Bean
you.
boyfriend.
I
himself.
remember someone putting us in 13th. Look where we are now.
Yeah, well done, well done.
That's
Look,
crazy.
I fully understand. I can't talk any shit at all here.
Oh, we played that shit. No, we were fine. I think we were we sat in 10th all comp until the final day, and if it wasn't for Wax, we would have been 10th.
You had a wax pep talk, did you?
Yeah, they
no,
paid me, bro. I needed some money, and I just was like, I guess I can fight Grub. We'll see what happens.
Oh, right. Yeah, sure.
Not a wax
What's
pep
up?
talk. I did give a wax pep talk to Warriors,
Oh.
though.
Oh, well, that worked, obviously. We'll get to them later, but yeah.
True.
Beans.
Cool Beans got it right.
Beans, boyfriends. Finn, what was it like playing with the boys?
First off, shout out to our best 4-door defender, bro. Bro, that's all I need to say.
Huh?
I don't know. Like, we didn't know what we wanted to do, other than everyone was like, Finn, you're captaining, right? Because you've got the most experience. And I went, that's terrible. Let's do it. And I think I made it a little overcomplicated for a bit too much of the comp. And then Dart was basically like, can we just do 2-3? And I'm like, yes,
Yeah, we can do two.
yes, we can. And like the first game we did it, we ended up beating Blue Steel and the boys, and we were like, oh, okay. And then it proceeded to be average for the rest of the comp, and that's all we needed.
2-3
Average
wins
is
you
win.
one game, and then it's over. Doesn't win you games.
Okay, it won us our first Ascensions
Says you.
against Behemoth.
That's why I'm
Um,
yapping. I said the game. It wins you
And it
some
got
maps,
us a,
but then it
a
stops.
crazy upset. Yeah. But we were also very adamant about not dumping. We didn't want to be every other team and dump. Despite Plank trying to yell after 2 drops of our base. I don't know. We were having a fun time. Like, we came out of games and we were like, oh, we probably shouldn't have lost that or done as bad.
Yeah, I think like from what the obvious things that I saw,
That kind of
like
sucks.
the 4
And then
door
just went
main
back in.
thing, like no one wanting to play close door, everyone wanting to float is like a problem because people are gonna be like, yeah, 0 clear, I'm tight, and then they're like, kind of like sneak away, like just to shoot one person, but then you lose a base.
Yeah.
It's like, bro, where the fuck were you? Like, and it's just like, I think it's hard when no one wants to do the role, and then someone kind of has to just suck it up and deal with it. But I was so confused what this is, but this is a cool bean, isn't it? That's what it is.
It's a bean that is cool.
It was. I saw it until the teeth went in, and then I don't know. I'm thrown off now.
But I think like from what I could see, like you guys were doing the right things. It just didn't always look like it was happening consistently. Like the amount of times I felt like I refed a game from you guys, and I just see like you guys walk into bases and get free hits, screaming easy bases, making people lose their mind. Like the things were working, it just wasn't always working. And like defense was rough sometimes because I feel like people would just run at you and just lose a base without any resistance at all. But I think it was like, I definitely think you guys could have beaten Warriors and Team 6, but I think other than that, I think this is like the cap. Like, I think it's definitely hard for you guys to beat Blue Steel and boys are backing down.
And like we got our 1 game and then we were like, cool, that is incredible. We don't but yeah, I think you're right in terms of like a cap. We probably could have beat them because I think pack to pack we were all pretty solid. And then a lot of it was just up until this point we had not played with each other, with the exception of like, actually I guess it's more just me. I had not played with everyone else. which is probably why I made it more complicated than it had to be, because I was like, I need to learn as much as I can about every single person. But yeah, like we were getting away with things, and then also all wanted to do like the exact same thing, which was not helpful.
Yeah, I'm fairly certain I came across one of you guys like right
what's
before
the
one of your
shop?
first games, and the word I got, I was like, "How you guys feeling?" And